There you go. All right. We should be live on Facebook.
Cool.
Hang on one second. All right.
Well, welcome to the Tuesday Doctor's Call with DocFizz.
Welcome to the call, everyone. And we got my partner in crime here, Andrea McKinney, out of Michigan. She looks like she's out in the forest right now, but it's just her backyard.
That's right.
That's right. So, how's life treating you in Michigan?
Great. It's a gorgeous day here.
Here too. We got done with the extreme heat that we were having for the last week, and we're back down to normal temperatures. So we had a couple weeks of warm weather.
Right. Yeah, it's just beautiful here.
Yeah, but you know what's nice is with that heat, I don't know if it had anything to do with it, but I've been getting 2 ripe tomatoes out of my garden every day.
I have 2 tomatoes and 1 ripened.
two a day. I've been getting 2 a day, and I just love tomatoes. I've always loved tomatoes, so I go out to my garden, I pick, eat them before they're gone before I get in the house.
Yeah. It's nice to get tomatoes out of the garden.
That's right. If you don't have a garden, for those of you that are listening to the call, if you don't have a garden, think about planting one. It's even if you just throw a couple tomato plants out, they're easy. Throw some water on them every day. That's all you got to do. Eat the tomato. So, anyhow, so hey, Andrea, I was thinking about it last night, and I was thinking about it again this morning. What would be a good topic for today's call? We've been talking a lot about, the coronavirus. We've been talking about a lot anti-aging. We've been talking about different supplements that you can take for this and that. And, sometimes I think it raises questions to people. And so I thought, let's take some time to answer some questions. So I know you've got some questions ready, and I'm going to go online to Facebook right now on my phone and just see if there's any questions that are popping on while we're doing the calls. So go ahead if you want to start asking me some of the questions that you have.
Yeah, in the past you've shared a lot about research regarding viruses, and I was just wondering what would be a recommendation of something to take to help fight off or prevent viruses?
Yeah, hang on one second. I'm going to turn the volume down on my phone here so we don't get there. Okay, now I can see if anybody asks any questions.
Great.
All right. So what do I take to kind of ward off viruses? And again, we can't make any medical claims, anything like that. But first of all, I take our product called Influence. It's got some great ingredients, including elderberry extract, that help, really fight the virus when it gets in you. Because if you're out and about, you're going to get exposed to viruses. Even if you stay in your house, you're going to get exposed to viruses. They're here.
That's right.
So I take Influence, but I think more importantly is I take Body Shield. And
what's in Body Shield that makes it so special?
Yeah, it's got fulvic acid, not folic acid. A lot of people, they think I'm saying folic acid, and they say, "Oh, I take that." Okay, it's not folic acid; it's fulvic acid, Fulvic, fulvic. And fulvic acid is a type of a compound that was made when volcanic or when ancient seaweed decomposed into the soil.
Right.
And it's got the ability to attach to the viruses, and it basically what fulvic acid does is it stops the viral replication. It stops the virus from being able to reproduce in your body.
Well, that would be what you'd want to do.
Right? I mean, we're going to get exposed to it, so why not make sure that once it gets in your body that it can't continue to grow?
That's right.
I think the beauty of that, Andrea, is that you're still getting exposed to it, so your immune system is still going to be able to build those memory cells, So you're still going to build that natural immunity at the same time versus if you seclude yourself and you stay in your little home
Mhm.
in Michigan and you never go out and you never see anyone, you never get exposed to the virus, you're still prone for getting exposed and getting sick to the virus. Where if you take fulvic acid, in a way, to me, I would say that you're going to build that natural immunity, but you're not going to get the illness from it. So, and again,
Very
we
good.
can't we
Very good.
we can't make any medical claims, and that probably sounds close to a medical claim. So I just got to say, we can't make any medical claims. It's just my theory.
Well, we've also seen a lot of research about that from,
Right.
PubMed.gov and NIH and all those different sites, that put out
Right.
research.
Yeah, on
Um,
fulvic acid specifically. Exactly.
so it'd be really good to keep your immune system strong also. So what products do we have that would really support the immune system?
Yeah. Well, I think vitamin D, we talked about that last week on the call, making sure you take vitamin D. I take 10,000 units a day. Vitamin C, I take 2,500 milligrams a day, and then I'm taking the Super Omega. Super Omega has omega 3. Omega 3 is really good for the immune system. Avenger helps your body. Sizzle Avenger helps your body. It's got a lot of good things. It's got chaga, and those really help boost the immune system. Fucoidan is, again, it's seaweed. So when you're looking at fulvic acid, it's decomposed seaweed. When you look at fucoidan, it's brown seaweed, and they say that it boosts the immune system. I've read in some places they say it boosts it 3,000%.
3,000%. So even if you said 300 to 3,000, somewhere in there, that's huge.
It's huge, yeah, yeah, because
Hmm.
like you said, 300 to 3,000, because some studies say only 300%.
Right. I've taken that almost every day for the last 3.5 years. I love it.
It does have a good taste, doesn't it?
Yeah, I could drink it like wine.
Yeah. I mix up a little smoothie every morning, and I dump my fucoidan in there, and it makes the smoothie taste better. So I
Cool.
like it.
So let's switch topics a little bit here. We specialize in anti-aging, and recently we had a new formulation come out that gets rid of some pretty bad um, free radicals and cells in your body, and it's
Hmm.
called Stemolytic. So, what would you like to share about that today? And if you would, tell us how you take it and why you take it that way.
Well, let me answer that question by first telling people what happens to your body as you age. Your cells, they get to a certain point where they reach what's called the Hayflick limit, which means that the DNA can't divide anymore. Your cells can't divide and reproduce anymore. They've reached that limit, and so the body takes and it'll put these cells to sleep, puts them off to the side, and when it does that with the stem cell, it's said to go into senescence. And what senescence, a lot of scientists used to think it's a dormant cell. It's just going to sit there. It's out of the way. It's kind of like, put the kid in the corner. He's not going to make any more trouble, right? Well, what they found is that that's not what senescent cells do at all. Senescent cells, what they will do, senescent stem cells, what they will actually do is they're more like a rioter. If you have a rioter come into a Mount Pleasant over there in Michigan, and all of a sudden getting people riled up and throwing bricks through windows of buildings and lighting fires and turning cars upside down and things like that, that's what you can think of like a senescent cell as being like. It's causing trouble. It's looking for trouble, and
Mayhem.
yeah, it's mayhem, right? And so they researchers that are working on anti-aging found that when that's taken place, senescent cells cause things like dementia, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, strokes, all these different things. I mean, all the aging diseases. Anyhow, So they started saying, well, we got to figure out how to get rid of these senescent cells, and so Tom started working on it, and he figured out, looking at the research, that you can use ingredients from onions and strawberries and lemons and things like that, and he put together this formula called Stemolytics, and basically what the Stemolytics does is it supports the body's own immune system, and it's your immune system that actually takes out these senescent cells. And so I take mine every other day. I take it right before I go to bed. I take 4 every other day. That's how you're supposed to take it. So
Every other day.
every other day, right? Because you want to have a day in between. You take the Stemolytic today, and then tomorrow it cleans up the mess. So today it's going to pull all the old dead stem cells out, and then tomorrow it's going to clean up the mess, and then you do that every other day, alternate.
Like this street crew coming in after the riot.
Cleaning them up. That's right.
Yep.
Clean clean up the mess that all those kids left.
Well, we came out with another really fantastic product here just about a year ago. And it makes the most potent hydrogen water in the world, in my opinion. And I just wondered if you could like list off maybe 3 top benefits of what hydrogen water does for the body.
Well, number one, and I think the most important reason for me is that it is a great antioxidant. It's probably one of the most powerful antioxidants, and and maybe it doesn't go after all the free radicals, but it goes after the most damaging of the free radicals, called the hydroxyl group free radicals, and
Uh-huh.
those are the ones that can get in your body and they can really mess things up, and the hydrogen attaches to it, the free hydrogen attaches to it, neutralizes it, turns it into water. So that's probably the number one most important thing. Number two, I think that hydrogen is probably the best fuel for the brain, and so it's gonna improve memory, it's gonna improve cognition. So I think that's number two for me. Number three would be the benefits that we have as far as energy. It's fuel for the cells. It helps to. It's somewhere I read that it's provides the 80% of the fuel for the mitochondria comes from hydrogen. So we need that. And then on
That's
top of that,
awesome.
it helps with the cardiovascular system. It helps with anti-aging. It helps out with inflammation. All those different things.
Yeah, big one for inflammation.
It
Huge.
really, it really
Yep.
does. Yeah.
Okay, so 3.5 years ago, just about now, I started taking a product or a formulation called Age Pill, and I got super excited. I've had great results. I mean, I don't know if you can see it. I'm like the tannest I've ever been in my life. My daughters keep saying to me, it's so unusual to see you tan, Mom, because I'm a redhead. I used to burn continually, and, I was either white sitting in the shade or I was burning. And
Yep.
seriously, I don't burn any. I burn a little bit, but I heal overnight. And I have to contribute it to taking the Age Pill for the last 3 years. And
Yeah.
so the first time in my life, I have a great tan. But I was just wondering if you could, tell us like the 3 main functions or benefits that Age Pill brings to the body.
Okay. Well, and I don't know if I say there's three, but the H pill, it's got nicotinamide riboside, nicotinamide mononucleotide, and what they've discovered is that also helps with the aging process, and they found that it helps with autoimmune diseases, and they found that it excuse me, it helps out with energy, and so this supplement that Tom formulated, it supports all of those systems in the body, and that's the way we have to say it, is that it supports those systems. Again, the mitochondria is so important, and if we can work with the anti-aging, and how does the H pill help out with that? Well, they found that it supports the systems again that help out with getting the stem cells reactivated. Some of the stem cells that have gone, basically they're not working the way they're supposed to. They've been bogged down by our high
But
consumption of sugar. So we
hmm
have the glycation, and then we have the lipofusion, and it removes that, so it allows the stem cells to work the way that's supposed to. And then, like I said, the hydrogen and is used to make ATP, and so the H pill was designed to help with that whole reaction to get to that process.
yes, yes, it's great. And I'm like 60, 65, so I started taking this about 61 and a half, and I've had phenomenal results, and I'm looking at my children reaching around 40. All three of my kids are around 40 now, and I'm looking at them going, you know, optimum time to start taking that because you'll have 20 years ahead of me. And
That's
I mean,
right.
if it was restoring me with limited stem cells and, more deterioration in my body, think what it will do for mid-aged people. And then
That's
I've
right.
heard stories of young people taking it in their 20s and they're just like flying through their day. They have so much energy. So it's amazing for many different adult ages.
Yeah, I would say that we really shouldn't put an age limit on it. I mean, if you start taking it when you're in your 20s, and even if you start taking it, at smaller doses, you're going to have the benefits. Like Andrea said, you get to be our age, you get to be into your 50s and 60s, and all of a sudden, that's when you're really going to reap the benefits from it because uh, studies have shown that you lose what was I reading the other day? You lose 80% of your mitochondria by the time you reach the age of 67. So comparing the number
Wow.
of mitochondria that you had when you were 25, you're losing 80% of your mitochondria by the time that you reach the age of 67. You look at stem cells. When you're young, when you're in your 20s, you have one stem cell for every 20,000 cells in your body. By the time you're 80, you have one stem cell for every 2 million cells in your body. Isn't that another reason to support that part of the body, support that part of the system that helps those stem cells work? Then you take a look at, we were talking about the senolytics. By the time you reach the age of 70, 95% of your stem cells that you have left, right, have gone
Right?
into senescence. So
Yep.
all of these things point toward why do we get old? Why do we have the problems with aging? It's because we're
hmm
allowing all these things to happen to take place in the body.
I think that's the first time I've heard you mention, that we're having a loss of mitochondria in the body. But that stands to reason if we're having more senescent cells, we're having a loss of mitochondria. But the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It's the energy. So that explains why as people age, they get tireder and tireder.
You bet. Yeah, just think about it. The mitochondria, it's the powerhouse, like Andrea just said. Think of it like the nuclear power plant in your body. It's burning hydrogen. It's making energy. And you need energy to replace damaged cells. You need energy to fix things that have happened. You fall down. I mean, when you're 20, you fall down, you get back up. When you're 50, you fall down. It takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So,
Even scratches and damage to the body takes much longer to heal.
and the studies that are out there, they say that if we take these supplements and we combine it with a couple things in our diet, number one, reduce the carbohydrates. Key thing that I can tell people: reduce the carbohydrates, and especially get rid of the soda, get rid of all that stuff that has the high fructose syrup. They found, I was just reading a study this morning that when they took a group of rats and they gave one group of rats a diet that was high in fructose, and they gave another group of rats that had no fructose at all. They found that there was a 90% difference on the number of mitochondria that were being made in the cells
90%.
by feeding them a high
Holy.
fructose diet, right? And Andrea, I mean, go to the store, watch people push their grocery carts
I,
around.
I
Everybody's throwing in a case of this, a case of that,
mhm.
and they're throwing all that stuff in there. And then on top of it, a lot of people are using that diet soda, which Lord knows what that stuff does. I mean, it's just a chemical.
Yeah.
and
It's
it's tricking
chemical.
your body into thinking that there's no sugar when really it's still a sweetener, so it still triggers that part of your body to think that you just had a carbohydrate. So your body's going to react as if it did, but it doesn't have the sugar that goes with it. But the other thing is that to optimize your body as far as the aging process, don't just cut back on the carbs. Cut back on the total number of calories that you're consuming as
Right.
well. They've shown that if you do a low calorie diet, you live longer. People
Mhm.
that are on the verge of starvation actually live longer. People that are obese. So
Yeah.
those are
I
those are some key things along with the nutrients that we've talked about.
I'm just going to recommend that people look into the ketogenic lifestyle of eating, and that would be lowering your carbs. And I think a lot of people, like if you had told me that information a few years ago, I would have said, but I can't. I'm hungry all day long. But
Hmm.
there's a difference between burning carbohydrates for energy and burning fats for energy. And when you do burn fats for energy, guess what? If you have fat on your body, you're going to have your fuel source right there all day long. I'm hardly ever hungry. Since the beginning of February, I've lost 27 pounds, basically eating
Good
the
for you.
ketogenic diet. I have limited calorie intake and I'm not hungry. And the other thing is that I do intermittent fasting. So I typically don't eat until 1 or 2 in the afternoon. So I go all night, without eating, and then I don't eat till 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And I've found, for me anyway, that like say one of the grandkids have a birthday party or something, and I have ice cream, which would normally knock you out of ketosis, and it probably does knock me right out. But when I go all night and a portion of the day without eating, I think it flips me right back in because I'm still not hungry, and that's kind of I don't go around test stripping myself or anything like that, but you can tell by whether you're hungry or not if you're in ketosis. So it's it's a good
Well, you
lifestyle.
can if you want to find out if you're really in ketosis, just go buy a keto stick
Well,
at the
that's what I
pharmacy.
said. I don't bother doing that because
Yeah,
I just go by how I feel. So
yeah. I think the biggest problem that I see with the keto diet, and I'm going to be real honest with you, is that for certain people, there's a certain group of people, probably about 30%, that genetically their body can't handle that kind of a diet. It actually will make them live less long if they're on that diet. So you got to kind of figure out, is it right for you? But if you are following the keto diet and you're burning fat as energy, guess where most of the toxins are stored in your body? In fat cells.
mhm.
And so as you burn that fat as energy, your body's going to release those fats into the system, and they're going to be more concentrated the second time. So what happens is that the body tends to hold on, and I forget where I read this research. It was probably about 10 years ago. I read this research that if you're really toxic, your body's going to hold on to those fat cells with all of its might if they're loaded up with toxins because your body doesn't want to re-release the toxins into the system. So you have to go in and do a detox beforehand. So I would recommend that if you're going to go on a ketogenic diet, maybe look at doing a couple months of the body shield and the fucoidan, right? Do that because the
Mhm.
fulvic acid helps to pull those toxins out. That's one of the miracles of fulvic acid. So do the fulvic acid. I would say, you probably want to do a little bit more than what's recommended. I would probably say if it were me, I'd do 4 a day of the body shield. I would do the Spectramax because it's got some more fulvic acid in it. I would do the Super Detox, follow that program as it's recommended. It's a 7 to 10 day program, and clean the system out. Get some of that, get some of that toxic material out of your body, out of the cells, out of the fat cells. So now when you start burning that fat as energy, it's pure fat rather than being toxic fat.
Right. Right.
So I'm
Well,
watching the website to make sure we're not getting any questions that I haven't answered here. So
okay. So, let's follow up with, the products that got me started with Sizzle, which were before all these other new amazing formulations. but they were top of the line liquid nutritionals. And, you know, if I get to a point where I just feel like, oh, maybe something's off a little bit, I will switch back and really increase my consumption of those three liquid nutrients. Because
Hmm.
when I started, I felt like I was having some real health issues. And when I heard a video about those liquid supplements, I went, I bet that will balance my chemistry in my body back out. It will take care of some things. It'll give me some things, um, essential things that I'm missing in my diet and straighten me out. And it sure did.
You bet. You bet. And what Andrea's talking about is we have three liquid nutritionals. One of them is called fucoidan, and we were talking about it earlier. It comes from brown seaweed. It's an extract. It's super concentrated, um, and it's designed. Tom's actually gotten a number of patents or genius patent awards because of his work that he's done with it. But he figured out how to super concentrate it. But not only that, how to release these extra sulfonated molecules. And that's what makes our product so much more powerful than any of the other Fucoidan products on the market, or they might be marketed under Lima Mui, but it comes from the same brown seaweed, and so that's a super product. It helps with inflammation, it helps with the immune system. Um, Really, I think it's an all-around great product. If somebody says to me, if I can afford one product and I want to see what it does for me if I can afford one product. I don't go to the age pill. I don't go to Stemlex. I go to Fucoidan because
Yeah, it's a great product.
I know that everybody's going to see results because everybody has inflammation, right? Um, the second product in the triangle of life is called Eternity, and what Eternity has in it, it has resveratrol. And for those of you that haven't heard about resveratrol, a number of years back in the 80s, in the mid 80s, a lot of science was done on resveratrol, and they said that resveratrol was probably the fountain of youth. And we saw all of a sudden that the cost of red wine skyrocketed, and the sales of red wine went up because red wine has this resveratrol. It comes from the grape skin of dark red grapes, and so that's a really good product, and it's a great antioxidant. They found that resveratrol helps with the sirtuin genes, which are the genes that repair the DNA. And then the third product in the lineup of the Triangle of Life is called Spectramax. And Spectramax has 74 trace minerals. It has 40 antioxidants, which is really unbelievable. I know you've got a good spiel that you always say on the Spectramax. Tell everybody what you always talk about with Spectramax.
Well, what I learned was there's 39 different levels of free radicals in your body, and one antioxidant will break it down so far, and then you would have to consume a different one to break it down further. Our product Spectramax has all the antioxidants that are needed to break it all the way down to zero, so it's not damaging you at all.
There you go. Plus, when you look at the minerals, I mean, go to the store. Look at most of the mineral supplements that are on the shelf. They might contain 12, they might contain 15 minerals, they might have 20, things like that. But they're not going to have 74. I mean, when you look at that number, that's the number of trace minerals that our body needs, and that's what we have in there. And when you talk about trace, it means that it's just a little tiny bit. And when we
Hmm.
talk about essential, it means that your body needs them. So we have 74 essential trace minerals. It's minerals that our body needs, and without it, we can't function properly. So your body might be working on a particular project and it's going to get to a certain point and it
Yep,
stops because it's missing the key essential nutrient that it needs to move on.
yep.
So,
Fantastic. And they're called Triangle of Life. So a triangle
triangle of
gives
life.
you a good base, right? And life is what we want. So
That's right.
thank you, Doc, for tuning in again this Tuesday. We do this every week at noon on this Facebook page, Doctor's Clinic with DocFizz and Friends. It's also found on Doc's YouTube channel, which is Sizzle World Team. You just go in there, click on his little icon, little round icon, and then once you're actually in the channel, click on videos, and you'll find our latest video there.
All right. Well, Andrea, thanks for being with me every Tuesday as well. And for all of you, the audience, we wouldn't be doing this if you wouldn't be watching the videos.
That's right.
All right.
Have a
Have a
great
great
week.
day.
Bye.
Bye.